Distinguished members, welcome to the Best Practices in Digital Transformation webinar series. Operations of our member base spans to all sectors of economy, and we are really delighted to learn how our members in different sectors create and implement sector-leading digital transformation processes and projects. Today we are hosting security and security product sector, and our guest member is G4S. Security sector representatives are actually the first people that greet us with their warm welcome when we reach to our premises or offices. And they continue to take care of our people and facilities on a 24/7 basis. We really appreciate for that. And this sector is really heavily dependent on the quality of the workforce, and continuous training and upskilling is their everyday agenda. And they are also benefiting from the leading technologies to upgrade their operations. And human technology interaction is at a very high scale, naturally. Today, our member G4S is going to provide us with the leading implementations within this context. And as you all know, G4S is a global company serving in highly qualified security and security technology products. They provide broad range of products and services across more than 90 countries, and they are highly capable of monitoring how security trends are evolving around the world. And we know that in most aspects, they are actually shaping them. And their huge investments in technology helps them to develop their products by using data collection and analysis, which is our agenda today. And today we are going to be represented by how they use this data on their own digitalization process and solve their customers' security issues and our security issues. Our distinguished guests are Mr. Mike Maltezakis and Mr. Kağan Gümüş today. Mike Maltezakis is the Regional Director of Business Integration and Development of G4S Europe and Middle East. He started his career in G4S in 2006 at Strategy and Business Development Department, and he held various positions as General Manager, Managing Director at G4S Telematics for almost 8 years, and he lives and joins today from Greece. And Kağan Gümüş is Managing Director of G4S in Turkey. He joined this company in 2014 and held different senior positions as Sales and Operations Director before his current position. And before joining the G4S, we know that he had wide sector experience in different industries and companies. And our own Engin Şayan is working at KPMG Turkey IT Advisory Divisions as Director in Data Analytics and Cloud Transformation domain. And he has more than 20 years of experience in telecommunication, finance, and technology sectors. And we are really happy that Engin Bey is going to moderate this session. Mike, Kağan, it's a pleasure having you today. And Engin, thank you very much for moderating this session. I'm leaving the floor to you.
Thank you, Serkan Bey. Good morning, all. I'd like to welcome all the participants of today's Best Practices in Digital Transformation with G4S seminar. I'm Engin Şayan from KPMG Turkey, and I will be the moderator for today's session with Mike and Kağan from G4S. Today, we will discuss what digital transformation means for security risk operations centers, how a global company like G4S taps into local knowledge, and how G4S Academy helps to communicate the vision to all stakeholders. So, first, Mike will do his presentation. After that, Kağan will do his presentation. After that, there will be a Q&A session. So, for participants, you can send all your questions through the chat box in the right bottom corner. So, in the question and answers, we will ask these questions to our guests. So, now let me give the floor to Mike for his first presentation.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Serkan. It's an honor to be here today presenting. Good morning, everyone. Herkese günaydın. I'd like to, Engin, will you be presenting the slides?
Yeah, Arnold is, yes, taking care of that.
So today we're talking about digital transformation. If you can just go a couple of slides back, perfect. So as discussed, I am a Regional Business Integration and Development Director for Europe and Middle East. I'm also a G4S Academy partner. G4S Academy is our newly founded, let's say, society of security experts within G4S, where we share and tap into the local knowledge of our people. Today, over 800,000 people around the globe, over 90 countries. Next slide. So digital transformation is about change. That is the major issue. That is the major challenge we're having. Everything is transforming. Next slide, please. Yeah. And we're transforming. Definitely, our own business is transforming. The security industry is transforming. New technologies are transforming the way we do our businesses and the way we provide our services. And this is not because we wanted to transform. And I'm sure that most of your industries didn't just transform because one day they decided to do so. we decided to do so because, next slide, our world is transforming. The world is changing around us, and we want to be relevant to that world. We want to be more efficient. We want to be more effective, and we want to use the tools that today are available to us, right? Next slide. Digital transformation is quite challenging to any industry, and it always has to do with a series of actions. It's never just a clear journey. It's never a clear path. It is always bits and pieces that will get us to the final state that we're looking for. And many times I question if there is an end state. I think personally, I just think it's a continual journey, continual improvement of what we do. The first thing that I would propose to everybody is to focus on your raw customer need, the raw customer need that your industry, your company actually serves. Now that is permanent. That has not changed over the past 100, 200 years. In our case, the raw customer need is the safety of life, security of property, and recently compliance, right? What changes are the products and services that are the responses to that raw customer need, right? So today, what is changing our environment? Digital technology. Digital technology and the advancements in digital technology have come to a level that now it's part of our products. It's part of our service. Even if it's in the form of a portal, of an app, of a process, a workflow, digital technology is part of the customer experience. And for the suppliers, for us, it is part of it's an enabler that gives us real-time information of how our consumers use our services. What is more important to them? How effective we can become, right? Now, digital technology makes excellence viral. So we all have that on a personal experience, right? We like a website, we like an app, we continue using it. We have a difficult experience, we just think the whole thing is bad, right? And another point that we should always keep in mind, we're not competing within our own industries anymore. Consumerization has made customers' expectation to rise to the best experience they've lived, regardless of industry. Our business is being compared to Domino Pizza. I always use this example, and because I have customers saying that. Why, Mike? Why can I spend $8, get a pizza delivered, I can order it any way I want, and it will show up on my doorstep, and I will look at that whole process. When with you, I have challenges to know when the engineer is going to show up, when the guard's going to show up, what exactly am I consuming? Do you understand the differences? The challenges are huge, right? Now, G4S and my personal focus is around our security risk operations centers. That is the core component orchestrating our field engineers, our guards, it's the recipient of the digital technology that's out there, the sensors, the cameras, the whatnot, right? It's the control room, 24/7 operation. Our view is to become a service company. We want to be able to provide security as a service going forward. Key thing here is that any as a service model demands that a company wins the customer every day. We're challenged every single day. It's not just the length of the contract. Next slide, please. This was just an overall of the environment, and I'm touching a little bit about our environment in G4S, and Kağan will get into more details in his presentation as what we're actually delivering and how we're working on it. But if we come back a step, the way we can address digital transformation is just a series of projects. It's just projects that we have to manage, and we have to understand where they fall into the overall picture. Now, next slide. These projects should always fall into these four areas of 4 pillars, 4 areas of activity. If they don't fall into there, it's not a priority, right? We should use these projects, we should use digital technology to change the customer experience. And when I say customer, not just our customers, but also our employees and other stakeholders, subcontractors. Everybody within the ecosystem should be considered as a valid customer, right? optimize our operations, streamline processes, cost efficiencies, transform our products and services, and at the end of the day, build the culture. Next slide, please. Personal suggestion, focus on the people. If we focus on the people, amazing things happen. If we make an experience better for a customer, that means it works. It'll work for another customer as well. If we focus on our people that take care of the customers, we're focusing the whole customer journey, right? And one way we can look at that, I mean, how do you measure that? How do you measure that satisfaction besides the typical customer satisfaction? When we're looking at digital technology, there are two core characteristics. On-demand capability, how fast can I get what I'm looking for? And convenience, how easy is it? Those two things are critical when building your digital, let's say, processes and tools. Next slide. So in order to get started, and I really love this process, think of your own industry, right? First of all, document what's going on, because something is going on. Go to your IT department, go to your HR department, get all those little projects that are small things that are moving forward the business, right? Make sure that you understand what's going on currently in the business, okay? And then just think of what your industry is going to look like in 20 and 30 years. When we did that at G4S, it was amazing. It was amazing. Think of the security industry in 20 years in a smart city. It's a totally new ballgame, right? And once you get that, you use that as a magnet. And you start planning the small baby steps on how to get there. Okay? There is no end game. That's the main thing. Just keep on improving. That is what digital transformation is all about. Next slide. So for us, this is the big picture. When we looked at G4S going forward, we had to, on the customer experience, rethink the customer experience. It's not about, the big contracts. It's not about just the account managers. It's I want security now. I want security there. I want a different type of it. And how do I access my information? Customer portals, customer apps, right? Transforming our services, we now have multi-country response, virtual patrols, bots, drones. IoT is coming into play. And obviously the connected guard, the connected engineer, right? When we want to optimize our operations, we're using data. We should be using more of that to become more intelligent, using artificial intelligence, machine learning, paperless contracts, right? Electronic dispatch. And at the end of the day, building our culture, cultivating the experts. That's where G4S Academy came into play, as I started off in the beginning, right? We have expertise. We need to tap into this expertise. We need our people to feed these digital processes with their expertise, right? We're going to need them. We're going to need their skill set to develop the new way of doing business, right? And they need to be part of that. I think that's my last slide. I hope I didn't overwhelm you with information. I wanted to touch on several important points before I pass over to Kağan to discuss about what we're doing and how we're applying all this in Turkey.
Thank you so much, Mike, for your presentation. So now let me give the floor to Kağan Bey for his presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. First of all, to our guest, Mike, Kalimera.
My pleasure.
Günaydın. Good morning, bonjour, buongiorno, guten morgen, annyeonghaseyo. These are the 7 languages that I can greet people with in terms of saying good morning or hi. But that's the place where let's say the trick of the security comes. Okay, we can greet people in 97 different countries with 97 different greetings. But the need for security is all the same. People want to feel secure. People want to feel secure at their home, at their businesses, wherever they go, for their loved ones. And all of the environment they have. So we distill this know-how into a global know-how and try to get something beneficial for everyone out of that. Would you please go to the next slide? So what do we dilute out of that? Okay, as G4S, globally and locally, we have an approach to approach people to understand their security needs. As I said, 7 different greetings just a couple of minutes ago. In fact, the need for security in all the languages is the same in the heart, but you need to find it out. What do they need? What do you need to protect? And what do you need to protect it from? And how do you most effectively protect it? When you're working in more than 100 countries with more than 800,000 people for more than 100 years, with all the distillation of the know-how that you have gathered from your all local and global operations, you dilute it into a methodology where we call it G4S Integrated Security. And we try to, with the help of G4S Academy, make an offering to the market about our security capabilities for the people, professional, and technology services for the things that we need to protect. Next slide, please. So these are our security capabilities in a very, let me say, concentrated manner. I'm not going to talk a lot about that, but there are 2 things I would like to mention here. When you are talking about integration, what do you integrate? Okay, we're talking now in the world right now, integrated for everything. Integrated supply chain, integrated security, integrated service in all the markets. But what is integration? First of all, what can you integrate with and with what? The only thing you can integrate is the data. And in such world, data should be live, should be continuous, should be streaming, should be visible, should be traceable, and should be transparent. And in a market like security, where you want to make sure that your loved ones or your important ones or the important things that belong to you are secure, you need to know it exactly the time that it happens that you are safe. So what do we integrate is we integrate data. And on the second part of the security, when you usually talk about security, the first perception or the first image that comes to mind is either some tall, handsome guy with a gun, or some guy like a Superman, or some guy with, let me say, an angry face that is trying to protect someone. But that's not the real life of a security person, or that's not the real life of a security company. We are far more a technology, data, and expertise company, let me say, than all overall service companies in the world and in the local market. And when we look at expertise, we have a huge education and training know-how integrated with security consultancy design, with the corporate investigations and risk management and risk consultancy. First of all, we have to know how the process is. Okay, and we have to do it digitally, because if we can't do it digitally, we cannot integrate it. You cannot integrate papers, you cannot integrate procedures, you have to integrate data, and for the integration, you need digitalization. And for a digitalization, you need systems, and for systems, you need investment, and for an investment, you need vision, mindset, passion, and communication. And while you do it with people in the heart, because still the human brain is one of the most advanced computing platforms in the world, and we as humans are unique, let me say, creations, and the effect and the part of human in security has not been tolerated up to now, and I don't believe that it will be totally tolerated in the upcoming future, because the decision making of a security professional with a focus on securing people is very much valuable, but as we are all humans, as we can get tired, as we can get bored, as we can get sick, the importance of a continuous platform that helps a security professional is always welcome. And while we are doing security, while we are trying to provide security for your loved ones, we have to do it with technology and data analytics. A person, while we are all doing right now, can look at one screen. And I'm sure, including me, if we talk for 3 hours, all of us will be bored. And even though we are all educated people, and let's say that we are all focused on what we are talking right now, after some time, we will all get bored and we will lose our focus. Think about that. A guard, a security guard, looking at 300, 500, 1,000, 2,000 cameras. That is technically impossible to understand the small details out of it if you're looking such number of screens. So you need to have data analytics to understand which things are going wrong, which things were important, and which things are changing. And as I said before, when we're talking about security, even though we have a perception of a guard, a tall, dark, handsome man with a gun, the back office or the backside operations of security is 99% reliant on how we gather the data and how we use it and how we use data analytics to outcome with a result of security, failure, or protection. So next slide, please. So first of all, I believe everyone here is an expert in some kind of business in their own function, respectfully. So on my side, as an industrial engineer approach, not just an MD of G4S Turkey, I would like to underline a very simple mindset. If we're talking about digitalization, and if digitalization is a process, then we need to have 3 things in place in terms of the digitalization. First of all, you need to have digital skills. Because if you're talking about digitalization, it means that you need to have digital skills to what? For a digital input, and then a digital process, and then digital output. So digitalization in overall is a mindset and a platform, also in security, and you need to have your all digital inputs in a digital version, or all the data in digital input, and then you need to process it digitally, and then you need to give an output digitally. Let's come up with a simple example. We have a safe car service. We have a product that is attached to the car that is totally irrelevant from, let's say, the brain of the car or the canvas of the car, but we know exactly if there is a failure in the car in terms of an accident, or if there is something crucial. If we cannot do it digitally, how can we know that if there is something happening over there that is 200, 300, 500 kilometers away from us? And the system digitally has an input and process it inside and sends us an output saying that there's something wrong. So the process circle, in a very simple mindset, first of all, you need to understand the customer and the pain that you are dealing with. So it starts with the lead. We go to our customer, or respectively, the customer approaches to us. We identify the pain of the customer. We really need to know, as I have mentioned in the beginning, what do we need to protect? How are we going to protect it? But these all should be happening in digital platforms. Otherwise, the crucial data for the customer about the pain can be lost during the transition process. So we do it from leads to risk analysis. Then we consult it with our expertise to a risk consultancy, and we combine it with risk assessment, and we come up with an integrated security design where all of this process in G4S ecosystem can be done digitally, even though starting from our customers' own approach to our website. So we try to digitalize all the input to our system, even from the request of our customer to us, to approach of our customer to us, then how we process the security need of our customer in digital platforms, and then we try to come up with a solution that will be also digital and integrated into our security approach. Next slide, please. So, digitalization, okay. It's nice to have always a mobile phone, to be connected, that's okay. But what's in it for us in terms of the security? What's in it for the customer about the digitalization? How do they benefit from the digitalization journey of the G4S Turkey or G4S Global? First of all, our customers can do their online risk analysis from the 100 years, 100 country diluted risk analysis methodology. And then after that, it comes to our online survey, and then we evaluate it with our risk methodology and create an online report. And of course, all the data that has been processed during that, let me say, interface is protected, because we have a huge partnership with one of the world's biggest, let me say, digital companies, Google. And we can also communicate with our customer through the webinars, social media, alarms, and our systems. On the customer side, now our customer can see what we are doing, actually providing them as a service, even though it's a staff business or even though it's a technology business. My customer, our customers, our partners can see what kind of good level of service we are providing them instantly, with a traceable, visible, and transparent, let me say, approach. And on our side, how we enable that? How do we work that we enable our customers so they can see exactly what we're doing instantly in a business-like security where 1 minute can be crucial? We have connected systems. We have a connected approach. In a very simple mindset, there are 4 pillars of security. One is the people. The second one is the machines. The third one is the services that you provide. And the fourth one is the systems. As G4S, as the world's leading security provider, we have our expertise embedded in the systems that we provide to our customers. We have systems to digitally manage the service level we're providing in the market as security. We have systems to manage the machines and the technology that we're providing to the market. We have systems to plan our people who's going to where and how and which skills are needed. And in overall, G4S, globally and also in Turkey, is a connected systems and digitalized security provider. We are passionate about changing the way that the private market is working in the world. And with the help of G4S Academy, that is a global diluted know-how that has been transformed into a methodology of security. And with the support of all the global systems, such as Salesforce, Saturn, and Cockpit, where I'm going to mention it in the upcoming minutes, and our huge learning platform, we now have the ability globally, and also in Turkish, and also in Turkey, and also in Turkey, we have some leading ideas and innovations that we contribute to also G4S Global. We have the full skills to be able to provide digitalized security to all our customers. One case study to mention before ending my talk. As I have previously stated, we have a vision of the digitalization leadership in the market. We're going to be the most transparent, also traceable and visible, and let me say also the accurate service provider in the Turkish market, whereas we are going to use the global and local systems. One case study before ending my talk is that in Turkey, and I think that case can be, let me say, a supportive, inspirational case for our respective guests in their own respective markets. 6 years ago, we have started using, 7 years ago, we have started using our global software in our local entity. And during the time, we have seen that this software can also be improved. And we have started an initiation and we have developed it under the G4S know-how in Turkey. And we have improved our global program. And now we call it Cockpit in Turkish, where we have 3,500 guards instantly registering their shift attendance from the field to our planning software Saturn. And then, whereas we are consolidating and verifying this data daily and also at the end of the month for our customers and for ourselves, and then we are using this consolidated and verified data through the systems to pay the rights and the benefits of our guards with a verified email platform. So from the attendance of the guard to the shift in the field, such as if Mike came to work at 8 o'clock and worked till, let me say, 6 o'clock in the evening, and including the whole monthly workload of Mike, for each guard, each person, each project, each location, we are 7/24, transparent, traceable, visible, and digitally accessible security platform to enable our customers see what kind of good level of service they are getting from G4S. And we also do it for the all technological parts that support our security approach. In the upcoming months, we will also be seeing from the G4S Turkey about the autonomous drone solutions that will be integrated with our alarm response center or risk operations centers. And one proud issue to mention is also G4S Turkey is one of the contributors to the European artificial intelligence and drone regulation. And we as G4S are really the leading digitalization provider in the market for the security and for the safety of your loved ones. So that's all from my side for now. I think that's the end of my slides. Yes, we have the Q&A. So I'm leaving the word back to our moderator. That's all from my side. I kindly would like to thank everyone for listening to me and would like to thank again for your valuable time for sharing it with us in the morning session. So Engin Bey. Your turn, please.
Thank you, Kağan Bey, for your presentation. It was so insightful. So now we are moving to the Q&A session. Let me remind again for all participants, you can send your questions to us. So let me start with first question to Mike. As in your presentation, you mentioned focusing on people, and also digital transformation is a process that never ends. So regarding digital transformation execution phase, what are the roadblocks or challenges you have faced or experienced or solved? Can you share with us, please?
Sure. I think the biggest single challenge are the people themselves. It is the resistance to change. It's the fear that comes with change. It's the concern with regards to the job security. It's the concern with regards to doing something different, and if I have the skills to do something different. It's automation that might make my job non-existent, right? All these things come into the factoring on why our staff don't or fear to engage with these and approve and help on developing these digital, let's say, and use of these digital technologies, right? And bringing them into the process. Now, I think that the major thing there is that we also don't do enough communication. We don't do enough training. Don't forget that these new technologies are moving so fast that our people, in many cases, don't have the knowledge of what it means. They don't understand how they can use it to make their job better. And that's one big thing that the company should be doing, is communicating that, right, to the people, that their skill set is a necessity. They need to grow with us, and these tools will allow us to become better and compete better. And one thing I always tell to the teams is that if you don't like change, you're gonna like irrelevancy even less. So try to embrace it. It's an opportunity to learn. That's the major thing we should get. I don't know if that was that covered.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mike. So my second question goes to Kağan Bey. So Kağan Bey, what would be your suggestion for governmental authorities and private sector companies separately? So in terms of digital transformation, what are the lagging points for them, you see?
First of all, I think we may agree on a point that Turkey, in some areas, is very much advanced in terms of digitalizing the government services. But the integration with the markets, at least for my market, is lacking in some kind of areas. On our market, about the security, first of all, the registration of the security companies should, I believe, be in line with their systematic approach. For example, we have the capability to be totally integrated to our government institutions for the registration of our guards daily. But even though we have such system, we have to get the data extracted from our system and insert it manually to the system of the government separately. So that creates, first of all, a task force, and also, except from the cost, that also creates, let me say, an area for error. And in a let me say, age where we can fully integrate simple data, I think we should be able to doing that in terms of the security market. And also, the requests in security market, such as approvals and the other things, should also be able to done online. And if we can digitalize and systematize the security companies in Turkey, I believe, first of all, the fair competition will improve. Plus, there will be less room for, let me say, malfunctioning in the market or illegal procedures. Let me be correct about it. And plus, the digitalization will benefit everyone in terms of the security. And also, with this kind of digitalization, it is very much easy to import know-how into our country and also export it back. Because as a provider of a global security service, we have a vast area where we can bring know-how to Turkey and also to Greece and also to other countries. And if the government institutions are reluctant to acquire such data in digitalized and integrated services, I believe G4S would be more than happy to share it in a transparent and let me say, and in a competitive way. So the government institutions and the government bodies can use us better in terms of our platforms and global know-how and importing diluted expertise into Turkey and into other countries. That's what I believe.
Okay, thank you so much, Kağan Bey. So let me get back to Mike for another question. So when we think of digital transformation in your security market or sector, so what are the new trends and technologies or opportunities that we'll see in the following years?
Well, because our industry is so traditional, technology is being the new thing, and the developments in technology are vast. So we're already using a lot of it, and we've seen the developments within the video area. So analytics, machine learning analytics, behavioral analytics, things that can, we're now deploying cameras, let's say, into schoolyards to take up violent behavior. We're deploying cameras into railway to pick up, accidents or people falling down. We're looking at the use of this in several different ways. So that is the one big driver is AI and machine learning technology. The other driver, I think, will be robotics, auto process automations, natural language, natural process languaging, let's say translations where, let's say, low level signals, low priority signals will be actually communicated to our guards, our people, our stakeholders, not by a human being, by an actual robot, let's say. So these are the areas that are going in, and big data analytics. The holy grail is to be able to, as Kağan referred to earlier, utilize the data that we're generating across the world to actually start identifying trends and providing prognostic security services. So pre-active security services. Let's get in place before the event happens because we pick up the trends that something might happen.
Okay, regarding the cloud technologies, what's your approach? Because you are managing lots of data and you mentioned all AI technologies and robotic process. So what's your perspective on using the cloud on your customers in terms of governmental entities or private sector entities?
Well, G4S operates in, like I said, 90 countries. So I don't have a single answer to that question. It has to do with legislation more than it has to do with the technology and the actual cyber threat. So today, both are valid. We shouldn't focus just on the security of storing the data, but we should focus on the security of the data itself from incident generation passed down throughout the stakeholders and to the end storing device. So very simplistic, if we have a sensor out in the field, a connected guard, a connected engineer, a camera, an access control system, the path from that all the way down into the storage area, the secure operating centers, and then the customer portal to consume that data, that whole journey needs to be secure. Yeah, and today's technologies are allowing us to do that.
Okay, thank you, Mike. So my next question goes to Kağan Bey. So the big surprise for us is the COVID-19 pandemic for the last year. So regarding this pandemic, how this impacted your clients' business or security markets? Can you give a picture on that, please?
Of course. First of all, as the security market is much more dependent on the size of the men's security market in Turkey, and as the pandemic is naturally blocking the outcome of the people normally into the life, the size of the men's security market has shrunk during the pandemic. But the need for security hasn't shrunk because people went back to their homes. That's okay, that's nice. And they try to stay there, okay, quiet and peaceful. But on the other hand, the office locations and the factories and the places they have left are there, and we still need to protect us from vulnerabilities, let me say. So the need for security hasn't changed, but it just replaced the type and the location. On the other hand, how we did it and how the markets responded, as the logistics and the food market has gone into a huge booming because of the need for the people according to the pandemic. First of all, the security need of these markets has changed, and they had to be faster, larger, and much more accurate, and we had to support them in that. On the other hand, shopping malls and, let me say, entertainment-related places have been closed so far, so the need for security has also changed there, and the security measures have gone mainly from men's security to, let me say, technological solutions, because the crowd, when you lessen the crowd, the security need also changes. In terms of the export and import part, also due to the economic situation of the Turkey, the export companies have gone into a booming, also mainly because of the devaluation of the Turkish lira. And the textile manufacturers and, let me say, the machinery exporters have gone into a huge booming. What I mean by huge booming, of course, I cannot judge on the numbers, but I can judge on their security needs. So we are operating in more than 29 different markets in Turkey. But we can say that we are focusing on 10 markets, especially data centers, logistics, automotive, education, pharmaceuticals, chemicals. If we look at an overall, we have all seen in the security market that the factories, export-oriented companies have stayed same or have grown, but the service companies or service markets like education, malls, and the others have shrinked, but the need for security hasn't shrinked, it just changed the place where it should be done.
Okay, thank you, Kağan Bey. One more question. You mentioned in your slides about the smart solutions in AI. So can you give some examples in security markets? What are the new solutions or approaches regarding usage of AI?
Of course, I would be glad to do that. Let's think about, we are already doing it, by the way, but of course I won't be providing the brand names, but let's think of a solar panel, let me say, area, a huge area in the top of a mountain, okay? You need to put it there because the solar effectiveness is much more better than, of course, a city. But it is very hard to send a guard 724 on the top of a mountain where it can be from -25 to +40. And it is also very hard to provide the human needs of the guard there, like toilet, tea, coffee, and partnership. There's nobody around, and you're just alone there on the top of the mountain. So how are you going to solve this problem? The need for security is there, but to provide the need for security just by solely man guarding is not feasible for the customer and also for you. So you do your analysis, we did our analysis, and we have provided a very good CCTV and artificial intelligence video analysis system that is embedded with speaker phones and also connected to our risk operations center. So if somebody tries to come close more than 350 meters to our premises, the speakerphone automatically calls out and says, "You are getting close to an area that is secured by G4S, please don't come closer." And if you go on coming closer and closer, let's say that to a border of 250 meters, the system automatically connects to our ARC, or Risk Operations Center. Our people see what's happening there, and also we have the ability to call the police or the gendarmerie to approach to our site, and without using any human, on the top of a mountain, we can secure a solar panel factory. That's how we do our business. And for the artificial intelligence, for example, in a railway construction project, within the help of a drone and drone surveillance, we have been able to identify the timing, location, and the frequency of the thefts with the data analytics, and we have prevented more than 3 million euros of value of thefts in less than 2 months in a very single focused solution. So we take the data, we keep it in secure platforms, but with our approach to the market, for each market it should be different, because your security approach to a food market and the shopping mall and automotive factory cannot be the same. Sometimes you need to set it very strong in the beginning, and sometimes you need to set it very strong in the middle of the premise. That differs. But as a result of all of these, if you identify and if you know what you're trying to protect it and what you're going to protect it from, and if you have systems to enable you data, you can integrate it with artificial intelligence and you can do it. We have such kind of services all around the world. For example, we have a product for that is, let me say, the best in terms of security hardware management software. And these kind of products can operate more than 600,000 access cards in all over the world. And you need to have a huge artificial intelligence and the data capability to do that. So we can say that we are fairly well in this area, and with the help of our global partnerships, we are getting better and better.
Okay. Thank you so much for your answer. So I don't have any more questions. So if you like to add some closing words, Mike, Kağan, please go ahead. Mike, you are on mute. Okay.
There. On mine, and again, I'd like to thank you all for this opportunity. I hope I shed some light on the challenges. It is a very interesting time we're living. We need to prepare our people for it. We need to assist our people to be more productive with these new tools. And we need to focus on changing the customer experience. It's a huge opportunity on making our world a better place. So thank you.
Thank you. Kağan Bey, you want to add something?
Yeah, for the last words, let me say that I kindly would like to re-emphasize that even though the perception of the security is mainly about the people, it's not. It's about the data, the integration, how you use this data, how you respond to it, and how you use it in the future as a proactive tool, and how you keep it, and how you, let me say, service it to your customer so that they can feel safe. Because security is not just the blocks or the walls or the fences or the people, but it's rather a feeling of safety and peace. And for people to keep this sustainable, you need to be providing them 7/24 data integrated with your services so that they can feel safe from your services. So security is not just about the man, it's about the integration of data, and we are good at doing it, and we are passionate about spreading it all around the world and digitalizing the security in Turkey and all around the world. And I would like to thank YASED, the Foreign Investors Association, for this kind opportunity to be able to share our experiences, and Serkan Bey and Engin Bey, and my dear colleague Mike for your attendance. And I would like to thank you all the participants for respectfully listening to us. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much also, Kağan, Mike, and all the audience that joined today for this good meeting. So let me give the floor to Serkan Bey.
Okay, Engin Bey, thank you very much for this kind moderation. And to begin with, Hakan Bey, it was such a warm welcome to our global member base, and your perspective arising from your experience in operating from many countries is really enriching YASED agenda in our efforts to support in creating the best business environment in flourishing the sectors and industries in Turkey. Thank you very much for this one. And Mike, it was really an inspiring opening. I'm going to make direct quotes from your speech, like the digital technologies are making excellence viral and mediocrity short-lived. Like this is really a key point, and this is how we are trying to operate. Though we are a business NGO and we are an NGO, we are working with the mentality of our member base, and I really believe that these words resonated in all of the members that are listening to this conversation. And it is really clear that we need to win our customers, our members every day, because the competition is tough, and the availability of options to increase our operations on a better scale is getting much available every day. So thank you very much for stating the context of this digital transformation agenda and the mindset that we need to follow. And Kağan Bey, it was really informative, and you made it extremely clear that what we can expect from the security industry and how our understanding of security can be redefined under the availability of these new technologies, and the extent of your capabilities actually that are based on new technologies and new understandings that are flourishing. It was really informative, and I believe that now our member base have a clearer understanding about what they can expect in terms of security and how they can benefit more from your products and your offerings. And it was really informative. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure having you all in our session. And we are going to continue with this digital transformation webinar series, because much of you said is directly applicable to many industries, and the mindset is also applicable. We are really grateful for sharing this information with us. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye. Stay safe.